Edmund Spenser's next poem is Colin Clout Has Come Home Again. Come Home Again. It means, the title itself means that in this poem, Edmund Spenser, is going to repeat the things which he already said in the Shepherd's Calendar. Anyhow, the poem is not so important, so just go through the points given over here. You need not read anything extra about this poem. Simply remember some of the facts that the poem published in 1595, and it is considered the greatest pastoral eclogue. I told you, pastoral means rural, related to nature. Eclogue is also a song of nature, when two rural people, when rural folk have a dialogue, or it can be soliloquy. These things we have already discussed. Then it is an allegorical pastoral based on the subject of Spenser's visit to London in 1591. He happened to visit London in 1591, and he made his visit the subject matter of this poem, and it is an allegory. The other day I told you what is an allegory. Allegory की हिंदी है simply remember that allegory is a story with double or hidden meaning. Double or hidden meaning. So allegory means a story with double or hidden meaning. Like simply, everybody has read the story Thirsty Crow. Thirsty Crow is an allegory because on the surface level, the story deals with a crow who is thirsty. But at bottom, there is conveyed a hidden meaning, or we can say moral. So the story that conveys two meanings, one at surface level and second at bottom, is called allegory. So it was an allegory. The is a simple ਜਿਹਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਪੋਇਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੋ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਸੀ, ਇੱਕ ਸਰਫੇਸ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਉਸਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇੱਕ ਛੁਪਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇੱਕ ਲੁਕਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਬੋਟਮ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ. Clear? This is an allegory. A tradition going back to Petrarch. I also told you about Petrarch, Italian poet, father of sonnet. A tradition going back to Petrarch means he followed Petrarch in this poem. The pastoral eclogue contains a dialogue between shepherds with a narrative, means storytelling, or song means या गा के या फिर कहानी ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੋ ਸ਼ੈਫਰਡਸ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਲੋਗ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਇਸ ਪੋਇਮ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਸਨੇ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਪੈਟਰਾਰਕ ਤੋਂ ਫੋਲੋ ਕੀਤਾ. Another point, dedicated to Sir Walter Raleigh. This is again important. Sir Walter Raleigh was a friend of Edmund Spenser, and this is also known as Spenser's most autobiographical poem. Colin Clout, Spenser himself, Shepherd of the Ocean in the poem, stands for Walter Raleigh, and Cynthia. Cynthia is, we can say, heroine of this poem, and Cynthia refers to Elizabeth I. As I told you that Edmund was in love with Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, right? Next, his next poem is Amoreti. 1595. Amoreti itself means love or lovers. Love or lovers. That is meaning of Amoreti. The term Amoreti is literally defined as little lovers or little cupids. Cupid is angel of love. Angel of love. So obviously the poem is a love poem. Clear? A sequence of 89 sonnets. You have to remember number. नंबर ਤੁਸੀਂ याद रखना है 89 क्योंकि अक्सर पूछ लिया जाता है कि Amoreti ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ टोटल किन्ने sonnets ਨੇ. So there are 89 sonnets in Amoreti. In other words, we can say Amoreti is a sonnet collection by Edmund Spenser. It consists of 89 sonnets which were addressed to his second wife before marriage. That is his courtship. Courtship means before marriage. Pre-marriage time is known as courtship. To Elizabeth Boyle. Remind you, this Elizabeth is not Queen Elizabeth. By chance, this was only a coincidence. एक केवल एक संयोग सी कि इसकी wife का नाम भी Elizabeth Boyle. Elizabeth सीगा and Boyle is her surname. So this Elizabeth Boyle is Edmund Spenser's wife. And before marriage, अपनी wife ਦੇ ਲਈ उसने ये sonnet sequence लिखी सी. The sonnets begin on 23rd January, means first sonnet dates 23rd January and end on May 17, because after that he got married. Amoreti is actually part of a volume, means big book titled Amoreti and Epithalamion. We'll discuss Epithalamion next. Means पूरी बुक का नाम है Amoreti and Epithalamion. इन्होंने इंडिविजुअली भी रीड किया जाता है. Amoreti अलग ते Epithalamion अलग. So this was about Amoreti. The things to remember here: number of sonnets की है 89, किस नु एड्रेस किते गए ने, किदे ਲਈ लिखे गए ने. That is Amoreti. Next point. In Amoreti, Spenser succeeds in immortalizing the name of his bride-to-be. He mentioned the name of his would-be wife in this poem, in this sonnet sequence. So in this way, he immortalized. Immortalized means amar kar dena. Made her immortal by devices of wordplay. Obviously, wordplay itself means by mentioning her name in her songs. Spenser chronicles the progress of his love for his beloved Elizabeth Boyle and then records his marriage to her. He even writes about his breakup with wife. That is sonnet 34 in Amoreti. This is something unimportant. You can simply skip this point. Next, as I told you, Amoreti and Epithalamion, they are basically two parts of a single poem. Epithalamion. Same year, 1595. Epithalamion is a song or poem in honor of a bride and bridegroom. Clear? Epithalamion क्या होता है? This is a song or a poem which is composed to honor a bride or a bridegroom. So it was an ode. Ode क्या होता है? What is an ode? Ode means a song of address. A song of address means ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੁਝ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ that becomes an ode. So it was an ode which was written to his bride Elizabeth Boyle. Means उसने इस poem च Elizabeth Boyle ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਨ ਕੀਤਾ, address ਕੀਤਾ on their wedding day in 1594. First published in 1595 in London by William Ponsonby. William Ponsonby was a publisher who published most of Edmund Spenser's poems, and it was concluding part of a volume entitled Amoreti and Epithalamion, as we have already discussed. It was a concluding part ਸੀਗਾ उस book ਦਾ Amoreti and Epithalamion. The volume we are talking about, the complete book, included the sequence of 89 sonnets जो आप ऊपर डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, along with a series of short poems called Anachronicon and Epithalamion. A means a short poem सी एक series सीगी जिहड़ी इस दे नाल attach सीगी, इस volume दा part सीगी. It was a public poetic celebration of marriage. Means Anacreontics ਤੇ Epithalamion ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਨੂੰ ਪਬਲਿਕਲੀ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. He gave each and every detail of this marriage. The ode begins with an invocation to the muses. Invocation means prayer, pray karna. Muse is we can say goddess of poetry. Muse is goddess of poetry. To help the groom and move through the couple's wedding day from Spenser's impatient hours before dawn. Dawn means sunrise, means the day of the wedding. While waiting for his bride to wake up, अपनी bride दे wake up होने का इंतजार कर रहा सी. वो भी उसने even mention किया अपनी means उसकी impatience सी, अपनी बेचैनी सी. To the late hours of night after Spenser and Boyle have consummated their marriage, means when they have fulfilled their marriage ceremonies. Even after that, he is mentioning each and everything about his marriage, about the day, about the consummation of their marriage. So this is all about, means the main point about Epithalamion. Epithalamion follows a rhyme scheme of, this is its rhyme scheme, stanza wise, first stanza, second stanza, and so on. AB, AB, CC, DE, DE, FF. Except the 15th stanza, you need not remember this thing. You just simply remember this thing. The structure is 24 stanzas. Epithalamion में total 24 stanzas हैं. Each with either 18 lines or 19. 15th stanza has 17 lines. Again, the same thing. You need not remember this point. The last stanza is an envoi, means a short formal stanza which is appended, means added to a poem by way of conclusion, that concludes the poem with 7 lines. And the last stanza consists of 7 lines. There are total 43 lines in the 433 lines in the poem. There are 365 longer lines. Out of 433, 365 lines are long and 68 lines are short. Actually, if we go into depth, technically, these 365, 68, they have some significance behind them. इन्हां दे पिछे एक बहुत बड़ा means important technical उसने method use किया. 365 you know very well, this is about days, and then 68 is further divided. I will tell you. Let us read. The 365 longer lines represent the year leading up to Spenser's wedding day. The poem starts at midnight of the day of the wedding. As Spenser grows anxious of the future he is embracing, every stanza is an hour of that day. Mind you, 24 stanzas. So every stanza is an hour of that day, eventually finally leading to the event means marriage, and then to the consummation means fulfillment of their marriage. Every hour is described in detail, from what is being worn की पहने जा रहे हैं to where the wedding is taking place. एक एक चीज ਨੂੰ ਉਸਨੇ डिटेल ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ डिस्कस ਕੀਤਾ है to Spenser's own thoughts, अपने thoughts से according. The 24 stanzas represent the 24 hours in a day, and 365 longer lines represent every day in a year. Spenser's wedding is one day, one particular day. The first 16 stanzas are the daytime and the last 8 are the night time. Means 16 ਆਵਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਦਿਖਾਏ ਗਏ ਨੇ, 8 ਆਵਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਨਾਈਟ ਦੇ ਦਿਖਾਏ ਗਏ ਨੇ, ਐਂਡ ਦ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਵਿਦ ਬੋਇਲ ਹੈਜ਼ ਬਿਨ ਅਕਰਿੰਗ for a year. 365 lines show that they are in touch with for 1 year. In brief, 365 lines correspond to the days of the year. 68 short lines, that's what I was talking about. 52 weeks, a year has 52 weeks, 12 months and 4 seasons. It makes 68. So everything has its significance. If he chose 68 short lines, जो उसने 68 ही short lines लिखियां, कटनी वदनी, it has its technical interpretation. 52 weeks, 12 months, 4 seasons, and 24 stanzas means 24 hours. The poem describes enthusiastically the whole of the poet's wedding day. You have to remember 11 June 1594. The poem contains many references to Greek mythology even. ਜਿਹੜਾ Greek ਮਿਥਿਹਾਸ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਚੋਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਉਸਨੇ ਥੇ ਰੈਫਰ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ. For example, Spencer calls on the muses. This concept of muses, muse, goddess. In fact, every art has its goddess, just like we worship Ma Saraswati for education. The Greek mythology ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹਰ ਆਰਟ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇੱਕ god ਜਾਂ goddess ਹੈ. ਤਾਂ similarly, goddess of poetry, the muse stands here for goddess of poetry. So Spencer calls on, means pray kar rahe hain, muses nu to help him in his artistic endeavors on this special day. Spencer compares his love to that of Orpheus. Now, who is Orpheus? Orpheus, the jo usne naam ethon liya hai, ethe liya hai, this is again from Greek mythology. Orpheus was a legendary musician and poet who could charm all living things with his music, with his poetry. Similarly, another name, Hymen, this is again from Greek mythology, was a god of marriage ceremonies. Hymen Greek mythology ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ god of marriage ceremonies ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੈਫਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. Spencer calls Hymen to his side on this day so that his own marriage ceremony will be perfect and to ensure their marriage lasts, that it goes on for a long time. So this is all about epithalamion. In brief, we can say epithalamion means marriage song. This is again autobiographical because he writes about his own marriage in this poem. Next, his next poem is Prothalamion. Epithalamion, Prothalamion. Thalamion actually means marriage, right? Prothalamion means a forthcoming marriage. A forthcoming means which is going to take place very soon. And this is not about himself. ਇਹ ਉਸਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਆਪਣੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚ. In fact, Edmund Spencer wanted to gain some special favors in Elizabeth's court. Elizabeth ਦੀ ਕੋਰਟ ਵਿੱਚ, ਦਰਬਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ special favors ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ. So that's why he wrote many things in flattery. उसने काफ़ी कुछ flattery ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ, ਚਾਪਲੂਸੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ, ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਲਿਖਿਆ. So this was one of the poems which bears the same cause, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ same cause ਹੈ, to please. ਇਹ ਉਸਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਡਿਊਕ ਦੀ ਡਾਟਰਸ ਦੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਦੇ ਰਿਗਾਰਡਿੰਗ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, just to please them, just to please him, so that he could get court favors. Yes, a nuptial song. Nuptial means a marriage song that he composed on the occasion of the twin marriage. ਦੋ ਲੜਕੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਸੀਗੀ of the daughters of the Earl of Worcester, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੀ Earl of Worcester, ਤੇ daughters ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੀ Elizabeth Somerset ਤੇ Catherine Somerset, in hope to gain favor in the royal court. Its full title was A Spousal Verse in honor of the double marriage of Lady Elizabeth and Lady Catherine Somerset. But basically this is known as Prothalamion. The poem begins with a description of the river Thames. This is very, very important point. This is frequently asked question as well. You remember T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, right? T.S. Eliot's Wasteland थोड़े याद ही होनी है. Yes, T.S. Eliot's Wasteland ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਯਾਦ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ. You can read the last point given over here. T.S. Eliot ਨੇ The Wasteland ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ sweet themes run softly ਇਹ phrase use ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. In fact, this is taken from this point. I told you this is frequently asked question ki from where did T.S. Eliot took this phrase sweet themes run softly. This is taken from this poem Prothalamion. The poem begins with a description of the river Thames where Spenser finds two beautiful maidens, means young girls. The poet proceeds to praise them and wishing them all the blessing for their marriages. The poem begins with a fine description of the day when on which he is writing the poem. जिस दिन वो poem लिख रहा है पहले उस दिन दी praise करता है वधिया मौसम है. He praises the surroundings as well. Then he wishes them the blessings for their marriage. He says, calm was the day, and through the trembling air, the sweet breathing Zephyrus did softly play. Zephyrus is goddess of wind. Right? Last point I have already discussed. T.S. Eliot in his The Wasteland used a phrase from this poem that is sweet themes run softly. This is a very important point. I'm again telling you this thing, repeating the thing. Okay, this point is very important. So this is Prothalamion. Next poem, The Fairy Queen. This is the most important work by Edmund Spenser. This poem is known as his magnum opus. Magnum opus. Magnum opus means masterpiece. Masterpiece means the greatest creation of a writer. So The Fairy Queen was his masterpiece, right? Before I start The Fairy Queen in detail, again I'd like to remind you the meaning of allegory. Because The Fairy Queen was an allegorical poem. Allegorical poem, as you can read the third point. This is what Spenser himself said about this poem. This is said by Spenser. He said this poem is cloudily enwrapped. Enwrapped means lipti hui. Cloudily means we can say indirectly enwrapped with allegorical devices, allegorical methods, allegorical techniques. Now, what is an allegory? I have already told you. Allegory means a story that has a surface meaning as well as a bottom meaning. I give you a simple example to make it clear. You must have read or watched on TV Ramayana, the epic related to Hindu religion. What happens in Ramayana च की है एक सिंपल जी स्टोरी है कि किस तरह एक डेविल सैटन कह लो चाहे रावण ने किडनैप किया एक लेडी नू ते किस तरह उसका एंड होया रावण दा किस तरह उसका एंड होया ड्यू टू दैट इविल उस इविल दे करके उस बुराई दे करके बट एक्चुअली दैट इज एन एलेगरी वो एलेगरी है जिस एक मैसेज दिता गया है एक मॉरल दिता गया है कि सच दी हमेशा झूठ के ऊपर जित हुंदी है बुराई हमेशा हारदी है अच्छाई तो इस तरह ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ स्टोरीज ने that convey a bottom meaning a moral hidden moral ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਲੇਗਰੀ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ so the fairy queen stands as one of the best allegories ever written in the history of English literature. Third point makes itself clear, cloudily enwrapped with allegorical devices, right? Second thing means next thing you have to remember about Fairy Queen. This is an epic poem. Now what is an epic? Epic क्या होती है? महाकाव्य जिसनों ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। एपिक ਦੀ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਰੀਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਅ ਲੌਂਗ narrative, a long narrative poem with a serious religious theme. This is the short definition of epic, a long narrative poem with a serious religious theme. This is known as epic. So Fairy Queen is an epic because it is long, it is narrative. Narrative means that tells a story, जिस विच कोई कहानी सुनाई जाती है, with a serious religious theme, right? So the Fairy Queen is an allegory, the Fairy Queen is an epic. Next thing that I'd like to read you first, ਜਿਹੜੇ points मैं ਦਿੱਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜੋ, this point, a vast allegory written in order to, this is what Spencer said about the purpose, the theme of the Fairy Queen, कि इस पोएम ਨੂੰ ਲਿਖਣ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਉਸਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਕੀ ਸੀ, ਉਸਦਾ ਪਰਪਸ ਕੀ ਸੀ। he wanted to fashion a gentleman or noble person. Fashion here means to make, बनाना, ਢਾਲਣਾ। a gentleman means a good person, a noble person। मतलब ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਰੀਡਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਵਰਚੂਅਸ ਮੀਨਸ ਅੱਛੇ ਤੇ ਜੈਂਟਲ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਲੀਅਰ means to fashion a gentleman or noble person in virtuous and gentle discipline. This was his purpose and this was the theme of the poem as well. He wrote this poem, he wrote this allegory to fashion a gentleman or noble person in virtuous and gentle discipline, right? Means he wanted to reform Englishmen, he wanted to make them virtuous, he wanted to make them gentle through this poem. So this poem carries a message, carries a moral purpose behind it. The Fairy Queen, the title refers to obviously Queen Elizabeth. So Fairy Queen here is Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, the Fairy Queen. Now let's read the details given over here. ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਡਿਟੇਲਸ ਪੜੋ, ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਨ ਪੁਆਇੰਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ MCQ ਲਈ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ for any kind of test, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਟੈਸਟ ਲਈ, whether it is master cadre or it is net, all the main points about this book I have given. It is an epic poem, his masterpiece on which he worked for 20 years. 20 ਸਾਲ ਤੱਕ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਲੇਬਰ ਕੀਤੀ, ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕੀਤੀ, but still unfinished. He couldn't complete it because he planned much more. He planned many books, 24 books actually he planned, but he could complete only 6 books before he died. So it left unfinished, not complete. Published by William Ponsonby. This name we have already mentioned. William Ponsonby, he was a famous publisher of the time. Cloudily enwrapped with allegorical devices. Its meaning I have already told you. What does it mean? Next point, Thomas Aquinas inspired him to write this book. Name of a friend, Thomas Aquinas, who inspired him to write this book, right? Next point we have already discussed. This refers to the purpose behind this book, a vast allegory written in order to fashion a gentleman or noble person in virtuous and gentle discipline. Its previous title was Patience, but then he rejected this title and he chose the Fairy Queen. The poem is set in a mythical fairyland ruled by the fairy queen, that is Queen Elizabeth. Total 6 books. This is again very important point because this is generally asked about the publication. One thing you must have noticed, with every title I have given the year, but with Fairy Queen I have not given year here. I haven't mentioned year here because there was a reason behind this and it will become clear right now. Total 6 books. As I told you, he planned 24 books, but he could write only 6 books. First 3 published in 1590 and next 3 in 1596. So we cannot give one particular year when it published. And this may be asked in examination. When did first 3 books publish? And remind you, next 3 in 1596, and we can say that all the 6 books republished. First 3 republished and next 3 first time published in 1596, means पहला 3 बुक्स 1590 च आईयां, फिर 3 बुक्स 1596 च आईयां, पर ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ 1596 च 3 बुक्स आईयां सी 4th 5th and 6th, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ first second third republish भी ਹੋਈਆਂ ਸੀ. Next point is again very important point. This refers to Spenserian stanza. Spenserian stanza की चीज है. In fact, the poets, they generally take their poetic meters from tradition, from the poets of the past, but sometimes they invent on their own. कई बारी ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਜੋ means ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ tradition ਉਸੇ tradition ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਉਹ ਕੁਝ ਨਵਾਂ ਇਨਵੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ. ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ Spenserian stanza ਹੈ, it was an invention of Spenser. ਇਹ Spenser ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ invention ਸੀ. ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ 'ਚ most important point ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈ, how many lines did it consist of? Spenserian stanza 'ਚ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਸੀ? It was a 9-line stanza. ਇਹ 9-line stanza ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ rhyme scheme ਸੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਪਊ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ. Its rhyme scheme was AB AB BC BC C. It was its rhyme scheme. बाकी जिन्नियां चीज़ां ने थे invented by Spenser. 8 lines in iambic pentameter, followed by a single Alexandrine line in iambic hexameter. Pentameter means 5, hexa means 6. These things we shall discuss in detail in another video when I will tell you about literary terms. So here for the timing, you just keep in mind this thing. Spenserian stanza means 9-line stanza. AB AB BC BC C. Next point. Walter Raleigh wrote a dedicatory sonnet. Dedication part ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸਨੇ sonnet ਲਿਖਿਆ Walter Raleigh ਨੇ in 1590, means with first 3 books. Next point is again very important. This poem earned Spenser the title the poet's poet. Spenser was known as the poet's poet. The poet's poet simply means सबसे बड़ा poet, means सबसे अच्छा poet, the greatest poet, and this title was given to him by Charles Lamb. Charles Lamb is name of a famous writer. He was an essayist actually. Yes, and as I told you, the poem was basically written to gain some royal favors. That's why he, flattered Queen Elizabeth in this poem. Next, we have main characters. As the poem is an epic, means 6 books are there, so it will definitely have a large number of characters. Characters की list बहुत लंबी है, but we'll discuss only the main characters. First, we have Arthur, King Arthur, the central hero, the Knight of Magnificence. You have to remember the Knight of Magnificence, the perfection of all virtues, means the perfect gentleman whom Spenser wants that every Englishman should full. Second character is not so important. The monster error, the villain, the fairy queen. Next, name है Gloriana. The fairy queen has name Gloriana. Never appears in the poem. Yet heroine, her castle, उसका जो fort है, जो किला है, is destination of many characters. Means all the characters are moving towards the fairy queen's castle. And Gloriana obviously stands for Queen Elizabeth. Gloriana is from glory. Red Cross Knight. Next character is Red Cross Knight, and this is something you have to keep in mind क्योंकि अक्सर question पूछ लिया जाना देखो सी फेरी क्वीन ਨਾਲ रिलेटेड questions एक या दो questions ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹਰ एग्जाम ਚ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜੀ एग्जाम ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ you have to keep in mind ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ next ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ the Red Cross Knight. The Red Cross Knight is hero of book 1 and represents virtue of holiness. Remind you, all the 6 books have different characters, different heroes, and each hero stands for a different virtue. हर book ਦਾ hero ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹਰ hero ਇੱਕ particular virtue ਨੂੰ, virtue means ਗੁਣ ਨੂੰ, ਅੱਛਾਈ ਨੂੰ represent ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ Red Cross Knight ਕਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਛਾਈ ਨੂੰ represent ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈ this is holiness, ਪਵਿੱਤਰਤਾ. His real name is George, but he is known as Red Cross Knight because he bears the emblem, means chin of Saint George. Saint George, patron saint of England. In the Bible, Saint George is considered the patron saint of England. He bears a red cross on a white background, means ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਕ flag ਹੈ ਕੋਈ जिसकी बैकग्राउंड वाइट है तो उसके ऊपर रेड क्रॉस बना हुआ है दैट इज स्टिल द फ्लैग ऑफ इंग्लैंड इज डिक्लेयर्ड द रियल सेंट जॉर्ज इन कैंटो 10. This is something you can simply skip, but you must remember that Red Cross Knight represents holiness. Next, Una. Next character is Una. She is wife of Red Cross Knight. She is very meek and humble, very polite, and she is personification of the true church. Personification, again you can say symbol. She is symbol of the true church. She represents true church. Next, Vesa, a lady who personifies falsehood. If Una represents true church, she, Vesa, represents falsehood. She is opposite of Una. You can say she is vamp, lady, villain. Next is Gayon, Sir Gayon, hero of book 2 and stands for the virtue of temperance. Temperance means patience and carries the image of Gloriana on his shield. He is carrying a shield in his hand. The उसके ऊपर Gloriana की image बनी हुई. But you have to remember कि Gayon represents temperance. Next character is Acacia, villain in book 2. Next, Britomart, hero of the book 3 and stands for chastity, pavitrata, character wise chastity. Britomart is basically a female knight. She is young and beautiful and falls in love with Artegall. Artegall is mentioned after Campbell. Upon first seeing his face in her father's magic mirror, Artegall ਦਾ ਚਿਹਰਾ ਉਹ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ father ਦੇ magic mirror ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ and she falls in love with him. And Britomart is representative of chastity, पवित्रता. Next, Busirane, villain है, no need to remember. Next, Campbell. Campbell is hero of book 4 and stands for virtue of friendship. Next, we have Artegall, hero of book 5 and stands for justice, Nyay. Next, we have Calidore, hero of book 6, stands for courtesy. Courtesy means politeness, we can say Shishtachar, on a quest from the fairy queen to slay the blatant beast. Villain, and he has been sent by the Fairy Queen to slay, to kill this beast named Glutton. Right? Now, how to remember? अब इसको याद कैसे रखना है कि कौन सा हीरो किस वर्चू को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, इसके लिए यू कैन मेक अ ब्रीफ symbolic chart. जैसे first of all we had Red Cross Knight, that is George. G stands for H, holiness. G stands for holiness, right? Similarly, next again we have Gayon, that is again G. G stands for temperance, right? Let us do another, एक और काम लेते करते हैं अपन. Let it be R, Red Cross Knight. R stands for H, G stands for T, and next Britomart. Third, B stands for C, chastity. Clear? Next, Campbell. C stands for friendship. F. Next, A, fifth book. A, article. Article stands for J, justice. Next, last, third, Calidor. C. C represents C, courtesy. So in this way you can cram this thing. Ratta laga sakte ho R, H, G, T, B, C, C, F, A, J, C, C. I think it easier way to remember this thing. Rest up to your own method. बाकी थोड़ा अपना method है, तुसी किसी भी तरीके नाल इसनूं याद रख सकते हो, but you have to keep in mind the names of the 6 heroes and the virtues they represent respectively. Next character is Colin Cloud. About Colin Cloud you have already read at 2 places. Colin Cloud, I told you, Colin Cloud was a folk character invented by Skelton. John Skelton नाम दा poet सी जिसने सब तो पहला Colin Cloud ਨੂੰ use ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ. Edmund Spenser borrowed this character from there, and first of all he made Colin Cloud hero of the Shepherd's calendar. Then Colin Cloud has come home again, and next in Fairy Queen he again mentions Colin Cloud. We can say that he considered Colin Cloud lucky for himself. That's why he makes its mention in most of his poems. A shepherd noted for his songs and bagpipe playing. Bagpipe is musical instrument. Briefly appearing in book 6, he is the same Colin Cloud as in Spenser's pastoral poetry, जिसमें तुसी पीछे पढ़ चुके हैं. बाकी कुछ और minor J characters ने, like Marinel, the knight of the sea, son of a water nymph. Nymph means pari. Water nymph means jal pari. Next, Orgoglio, an evil giant. एक राक्षस है. His name means pride, command in Italian language. Yes, next. Other key facts about Spenser. These are concluding facts about Spenser. Before I read the concluding facts about Spenser, you must go through the detailed summary of the Fairy Queen, all 6 books. You must go through because the Fairy Queen, as I told you, is very important, and generally 1 or 2 questions are asked about the Fairy Queen in every exam. So take care and read the Fairy Queen in detail. Yes, other important facts about Edmund Spenser. These are concluding facts about Edmund Spenser. In 18th century, Alexander Pope is a poet of the 18th century, compared Spenser to a mistress. He said something about Spenser that is very famous, that is very meaningful as well. He said, Spenser is that type of a mistress. Mistress means beloved, whose faults we see. जिस कुछ faults ने तो सानू साफ दिखाई दे रहे हैं. We can clearly see his faults, but still love her with them all. In spite of all those faults, we love. He means to say कि no doubt Spenser has many faults, but still We love him, we love his poetry, we love to read his poetry. That's what he means. Alexander Pope in 18th century. In 1592, Spenser wrote Defnida. This is not so famous, so that's why I mentioned it here. It was basically an elegy. Now, what is an elegy? Elegy hota hai death song. Song written to mourn somebody's death. An elegy upon the death of the noble and virtuous Douglas Howard. Next, in 1596, Spenser wrote 4 hymns. Hymns means religious song. Next, in 1611, the first folio of Spenser's collected works appeared. First folio. Folio means you can say collection. Collection of Spenser's collected works means सारे उस ਜਿਹੜੇ main works ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ book ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ present ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ after his death in 1611. In 1596, he wrote A View of the Present State of Ireland. This is somewhat important. In fact, he himself belonged to Ireland. So he presented a scenario that he saw, जो उसने देखा सी, a view of the present state of Ireland. It was Spenser's only prose work. All other books he wrote in poetry. बाकी सारियां books उसने poetry च लिखियां सी, केवल उसका इकलौता prose work सी. It was a prose treatise. Treatise means वैसे ग्रंथ ਹੁੰਦਾ है, ਤੁਸੀਂ simply इथे book कह सकते हो. A prose treatise on the reformation of Ireland. That how could Ireland be reformed? He also categorizes the evils. Categorizes means, sorry, point by point. He mentions some of the evils of the Irish people. ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਬੁਰਾਈਆਂ ਤੋਂ Irish people suffer ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, into 3 prominent categories. So he categorized their evils into 3 parts according to law, customs, and religion. So according to him, according to Spenser, the people of Ireland, they had 3 prominent evils. These evils are related to laws, customs, and religion. He also criticizes the native law system, which was known as Brehon law. This was native law system of Ireland at that time, which trumps the established law given by the English monarchy. Monarchy means kingship, means it was, you can say again, against the English law. This system has its own court and way of dealing with infractions. If somebody commits a crime, this system has its own court and way of dealing with those criminal segments. So this is all about Edmund Spenser. Very soon I'm going to give you MCQs on Edmund Spenser. That will be again in form of a video. I'm going to make a video on MCQs on Edmund Spenser. Till then, goodbye. See you soon. Thank you.